now that we've spoken about, say, search generative experience, it leads me to the next question, and this is something I'm sure you've been asked very, very frequently. It's a question that we've been asked very frequently as well. Is and there's no clear answer yet. Is like, what is Google's stand on publishers using generative AI? Like, is it absolutely against it? Will it penalize new digital publishers for having AI generated content? Will it rank you lower, or uh, can it rank you higher than human generated content or human written content?
Wow. Now, no, this is a very perfect question, and there couldn't be a better time to actually discuss this because as we speak, Google has started rolling out a helpful content update. And at this point, there is a major change that they have implemented in the helpful content documentation. So, if you just allow me, I'll just share my screen here and I would like to show it to our viewers that what exactly this changes, because this changes how Google actually wants us to see and how they are experiencing and what their thoughts are about generative AI. So, in the previous documentation, Google had mentioned here that helpful content written by people for people in search results. And what they have changed in the recent documentation is they have removed content written by people and they have just kept helpful content created for people in search results. So if you see here, we have this helpful content written by people for people in search results, which was the earlier documentation. And like earlier this week, they have changed it to helpful content created for people in search results. And this changes things massively. Again, a lot of looming lack of clarity that we had around generative AI and AI driven content. This makes it clear that okay, Google is not against it. They want us to try and experiment it to some extent, definitely. But again, we should be smart enough to know what content can be AI driven and what cannot be. So, a couple of other interesting details around this. So, like in February 2023, right after the second helpful content update, Google actually published a separate page on what their guidance is about AI generated content. And over here, what they are clearly saying is that, like about a decade back, even mass produced human generated content was considered to be a little dubious and untrustworthy. Now, what they realized as an organization is that they can't generate human generated content altogether, right? Or else, what would be the way for people to actually create content or consume content? So instead, what they did was they made their internal systems a lot more better, and they were able to actually detect what content out of all of this is of a higher quality, and how do we pick and choose and display that to our readers. Now, like along with this, what they have also done is they have improved their spam detection and spam fighting efforts, and have introduced a spam brain system, which very easily segregates spam content from actual original valuable content. And which is where they also talk about AI generated content, and not all of it is actually spam. For example, content such as sports scores or weather forecasts, video transcripts, all of these content types are actually generative AI and AI generated. So they can't actually ban all of it, or all of this is actually not unhelpful. Like especially sports scores, all of this data, there's so much search volume, search intent that we can't actually do it manually as well due to its scale. So it's just their system getting better to understand and to segregate and identify what is good and what is not good. And just to end this conversation, there's also a few interesting questions that Google very clearly answers on this page, and they're telling us clearly whether they are against AI generated content or not. Why haven't they banned AI content, or how will it prevent poor quality AI content from not showing up in the search results? And ultimately, the looming question that you might have after all of this is, will AI content rank highly on search? However, they are very clear, okay, there is no added benefit to using AI, but content that is useful, helpful, original, and satisfies all parameters on EEAT, it has an equal chance to do well in search, similar to the human generated content.
So from the looks of it, Google is fine with publishers, like digital publishers using AI, as long as it is fact checked, it is accurate, and there are chances of it ranking better than something that is completely human written, like tested from by humans, written. Okay. Which also goes to say that for publishers who haven't tried AI yet, or have been not really receptive to it, I think it might just be time to change ways, because like Swapnil just mentioned, for stuff that's quickly updating, something like sports scores or transcripts, or even say, for example, the budget, like you have a big financial document which you have to summarize very quickly, because at the end of the day, when it comes to digital publishing, speed is crucial. Like the first, there's a saying, the early bird gets the worm. It's true in news publishing. The one who publishes it out first accurately. So definitely, I think AI. I think it's time to for all digital publishers to uh, test waters with how they can use AI to improve the way they create content, they curate content, or even say produce it all together. Of course, like they say, it needs to be fact checked, and even I think it mentions clear guidelines. I think I'll add a link to this one as well in the comments, just so that for the viewers, it's a good way to check what they can do to get an edge over the competition that's not doing or not using AI for that matter.
And yeah, just to add to what you mentioned, like a quick tip for publishers who want to experiment with AI, like so definitely fact checking is of the utmost importance. Nothing takes more priority than that. But also make sure that your AI generated content is heavily edited. Primarily because generative AI as a model doesn't have the ability to create its own content. It's just taking content from multiple places that it can access, and based on that it can just mix match change around wordings and produce more catchy or content as per your requirements. So definitely please do feel obligated actually to edit all of that content, add your own insight, your own perspective, your own flavor to it.
Absolutely. I think even a plagiarism check would be required, given that it uses a lot of it. Because if you end up publishing the content as is, it might just get like a strike for being plagiarized. So yeah, I think a plagiarism check also is pretty much essential there. Heavily editing that document uh, would definitely help as well, and adding your own insights there, because at the end of the day, authoritativeness that's required. Like for your authors that have experience in that, I think the data is something that can come from AI, and the perspective can come from the author. That way, I think your readers will get the best of both worlds.